It's going back the other way.
Put on a suit. Drink water. Don't drink and drive.
Game over.
Take it light. Okay.
Now you're more fluent.
Mackinac, he's got three.
Bears.
So this is really good right here. Absolutely. Let's do it.
Welcome back to Texas Rangers with the Boys. We are the Boys, your daily Texas Rangers podcast by a couple of pro wrestlers who love Rangers baseball. Hey, we want to thank you for making us the first listen of your day. This is your boy Kevin, a.k.a. YBK Kevin Frazier. We got a lot in store for you. Wrap up of the Los Angeles series, Rangers out west. We've got tons of Rangers team news, from injury news to pretty much all injury news, a lot of all-star news, big statement from Max Scherzer. Then we're also going to preview what is shaping up to be a really big weekend series going into Houston. So it's kind of do or die for this 2024 Texas Rangers team with the trade deadline coming up, and I'm pretty sure it'll be a huge topic of conversation pretty much every day after the All-Star break, after every single game, after every single outcome. The playoffs are definitely months and months away, but I think for this Texas Rangers team, I think right now the playoff run starts now for this team and really for this organization. So if you want to check me out on social media, Kevin Lee Frazier, that's Frazier. Don't forget to check out Texas Rangers with the Boys on social media, TX Rangers WTV. Don't forget to check out that website, TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com.
Oh, one word.
And, right here on YouTube, you can check us out on the Sports Fluent network. All you have to do is go to that search bar and search Texas Rangers with the Boys. You can see our made for radio faces. Also, a big shout out to our farmhands who are the subscribers to our exclusive content down on the farm with the Boys. We'll tell you a little bit more about that here in a little bit. Joining me, my co-host, the 300-pound animal, a.k.a. Bull. How you doing, buddy? Where can they find you on the old socials?
Well, I'm doing good. Rangers day off. I thought I'd real quick run format since, or not format, but last night for the show this coming week. Last night, this morning, whatever the case may be, those late games get us sometimes. So we're gonna throw you one today, and then we're gonna get you back on track on Monday, and we're gonna preview the All-Star game, preview the Home Run Derby, and then we're gonna talk about the series with Houston, and probably a little bit about the draft if we already have a Rangers first-round draft pick by then. So we'll talk about that stuff on Monday, and then we'll be back on Wednesday morning for a post-game All-Star wrap. We're going to talk about the Home Run Derby, how Dolly does. We're going to talk about the series coming up with Baltimore and how important that is and what the Rangers are going to run out there. Hopefully we'll know starting pitching-wise, but I would take a guess that it would probably be Eovaldi and Scherzer starting the second half of the season the way it's looking to wrap up here in the first half. So anyways, we'll talk about all that and more on the show today. But I just wanted to give you guys, if you look at next week and you're like, man, these guys are they got two shows? Yeah, it's the All-Star break. There's not a ton going on. We don't want to sit here and just talk about what ifs and all of that stuff because we're more of a news show than a what if show or anything like that. So, we want to just talk about Rangers happenings as they happen instead of trying to put the cart in front of the horse and talk about what the Rangers are going to do at the trade deadline, where will they be in August, all that stuff. Let's not get that far ahead. Let's just do the two shows and then pick back up and talk about Baltimore the next week and get back on track. And we plan on, at least getting you 3 shows every week, most likely 4 when we can get it done. But anyways, social medias, Manimal Bull on Twitter, Instagram, Manimal300, and both Facebook and TikTok at Bull Pro, and the Texas Rangers with the Boys, all one word, at TikTok. we've been uploading some fun little videos if you want to share them and let people know about Texas Rangers with the boys. And, like that page and give it a try, So who knows? We've been trying some new things. We're working on it. So, anyways, Kev, I'll send it back to you right after I tell you about Matt War Pro on July 26th. It's going to be a big time up at the Southside Preservation Hall. Get on out there for a big wrestling show. It's going to be fun wrestling. We're going to have great food. We've got Kelly's Onion Burgers out back, Starry's ice cream inside with the ice cream treats, and we're going to have our friends from Martin House Brewing out there with all of your favorite beers from one of the best breweries in all of North Texas. So come on out Friday, July 26th for a big time at the Southside Preservation Hall. So there you go, Kev. I'll send it back to you. We'll start talking about the Texas Rangers.
That was a heck of a little spot there. Love it. Well, hey man, we've got a ton of Texas Rangers news to really take on here. Let's jump. I mean, honestly, let's just jump right into the news. Again, we'll wrap the weekend series. We'll wrap the Angels series here in just a little bit. But man, when I look at all this, it just feels like where it's like it just feels like I just feel like I wish we had more time. I wish we had like another 2-3 weeks for all this stuff to play out before the trade deadline came around. Like
you remember back when they used to have the waiver wire at the end of August, and guys would put people on waivers, and if they cleared, no big deal, whatever. And if they didn't, you could trade for them at the end of August, and when you really know where you're going to be. And, that's how Verlander became a Astro the first time, there at the end of August instead of at the end of July. But they got rid of that a couple of years back in the new bargaining agreement. And, I really do. I miss that because, sometimes it isn't about going and getting a Justin Verlander at that break. It could be like the 2006 Cardinals that got Rafael Belliard at that break, and he ended up being a big part of what they did to go to the World Series and win. So it doesn't always have to be this big star, but you can also get a value player right there that's on waivers, and all you've got to do is send a little minor league A-baller to them, and they're happy.
Yeah. I remember that. I miss it, but it just feels like the Rangers, all the stuff that's happening with the team, it just seems like it feels like it's on a month behind, or not even a month, but just a few weeks. But hey, let's talk about it. Tyler Mahle goes 2 scoreless. He's in Round Rock? Is that
Frisco
right?
This week with Round Rock being in Reno.
So 2 scoreless at Round Rock for Tyler Mahle. That is always good news. What that also means is that means Kumar Rocker's probably got his 2 innings or whatever he's going to be doing coming up within the next day or so as well. I think he pitches on Friday.
At the complex.
Yeah, so that's going to be some fun news to talk about, and we'll probably recap that on Sunday, aka Monday. Anything you want to add on the Mahle situation, or you just it is
32 pitches, up and down twice. Just getting back, just getting ready, getting back, trying to get that, 20 pitches last time, 30 pitches this time. Hopefully the next time maybe they'll be willing to, stretch out for another up and down and end up somewhere around 40 to 50 pitches. I'm not sure. I don't know what, coming back off of these Tommy Johns, they're kind of crazy. You don't want to hurry anything along. And I don't think that they're in any hurry with either one of these guys coming back, or even really Rocker as well. I know he probably isn't going to affect the major league team this year, but, it's still a first-round draft pick from a couple of years ago. We're trying to watch him get back and see how things go for him. I don't really know on Mahle how close he is, but I've got to start thinking that sometime around the very first of August, maybe the end of July.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, that's a shot in the arm if you're talking about going to the trade deadline looking for starting pitching.
Right. You know what's
Um,
weird about all this? Like, it's just kind of weird to me. Sorry to just butt in, but it's like how if we've got guys like Molly coming back, are we talking about selling? Like that, it just feels weird. Like, why sign him in the first place? Is he
well, and
sign him to trade him? I guess I don't know.
I think the idea was for the second year with them because they're not really paying him anything this year. I think it's like $4 million or $5 million, something like that, for a starting pitcher that's going to pitch 2 months. And I would say that Molly is the type of guy that he's probably got. Let's see if he's getting $5 million for 2 years, $15 million. That seems about right, and that's what he's going to make next year. So, or between 15 and 20, something like that next year. So you're looking at a spot where Tyler Molly is, that kind of guy that you are looking for in the off season. That's somewhere around $15 million that can help you at the back end of the bullpen. But I think he's a little bit better than that, but he's taking that money coming off of an injury.
Yeah, it's just kind of like there's something about this thing doesn't give me the impression that this team's going to be selling.
Well, I think with and we're let's just go ahead and talk about it right now. But with Max Scherzer kind of just saying yesterday with AJ Pierzynski that he's not waiving his no trade clause this year. He's here to win with Texas, and I mean now obviously they can go to him and ask him for a trade, but he can say no to basically anything he wants to say no to. So if he plans on being here, he plans on winning here. And that's kind of like what you were just saying is that like that kind of gives off the impression that they feel like they're still going to win here.
Yeah, and that's what we want to hear, but I understand both. Like, I really do. Like, I don't, the fan in me doesn't want to trade and wants to wants to like go for it. But also like the my baseball brain and just thinking about it from big picture, I mean, I still think if they can bring back like their core next year, and if they're going to be buyers in the free agent market, like a lot of these, there's just a lot of reload. They could really do a lot of reloading this year right in the middle of their window, which is just like, that's just they're in a great spot with all these 1-year contracts that they have the flexibility to do something like that. And one thing also is going to say, so say Max Scherzer stays around. That doesn't mean if they make some trades or make some moves at the deadline that doesn't look like buying, that it's actually a step backwards. Because Seattle.
Well, and I thought last year Arizona or Seattle did that where they were kind of sellers at the deadline, but they were sellers with Seward. I mean, he could tell like David Robertson, Kirby Yates, similar to a guy like Paul Sewald. I said Sewald, not Seward. Similar to that guy that, you can deal one of those guys, get a decent haul back. I think they already released half the guys that they got back for him or whatever. But you can do that trade, try and upgrade your team in a small manner by, not upgrade, but get the best possible return you can for a guy that has value. And both Kirby Yates and David Robertson probably have the most value of anybody in that Rangers bullpen. So, I mean, if they were up for, a trade, they would probably have the best value of anybody on these 1 years, excluding maybe Nathan Eovaldi. But you got to imagine if somebody is going to take on Nate, they want to probably get one of those relievers too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I just think the Rangers have a lot of options right now. And I think that it's not a bad spot to be in. And again, hats off to Chris Young for putting them in a spot where like they can do really kind of whatever they want right now at the trade deadline without having to give up a ton of assets or really touch the farm hardly at all to increase, like, to reload certain elements of their team. Because I mean, yeah, they may need a hitter or two, maybe if even that many. But you also got to remember, and we're about to talk about it right now. Evan Carter's coming back, going on his rehab assignment in Round Rock.
Well, he's working in Arizona
Or Arizona. I'm
as
sorry.
of right now.
And,
Yeah,
and what
him
makes
and
you what
him and
makes
Bradford. Oh,
right?
sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just talking about him as a hitter. Like, what makes
Right.
you think that there's stuff out there better than a healthy Evan Carter to go bring in here?
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen cases in the past with Evan Carter at both Hickory Down East and Round Rock, and it might have actually been Hickory. He might have played 2 years in a row at Hickory A and A+, but I can't remember. But anyways, the point of that was that he had injuries. He didn't play very well. He took the time off to get healthy. He stormed back, I guess is what the point I'm trying to make with that. So let's hope that if he is healthy, that he can get back to that player that he was all the way through the minor league system. And now, last year with the Rangers, what we saw in the postseason and the last little bit of the regular season.
Yeah. And then, like you mentioned, we'll talk about some of this pitching that's, on the mend. Besides Molly, Cody Bradford also going to Arizona to get his rehab underway.
Yeah, starting work. That's all I guess kind of the kind of the objective right now with both Carter and Bradford, starting to get them back to where they were. Most likely when Bradford comes back, he'll be in the bullpen. And I would say that, he's at least earned an opportunity to get a look whenever he does come back out of the bullpen.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think Bradford has earned at least the chance to do something. Now, speaking of bullpen, Austin Pruitt has been pitching at Round Rock and looking pretty good.
Yeah, not terrible, but it's also Round Rock. It's not, it's not the big leagues. I don't know if I expect to see him back though at the big league level. Although, with Daniel Robert making his major league debut, congratulations to him. The other night, it's Robert, Pruitt, Anderson. I think the reasons that you might see Pruitt is because they can't bring Anderson back up again without sending him down and putting him through waivers. Probably why Daniel Robert was put on the 40-man in the first place because of that same situation. So we'll see what happens. But as of right now, I wouldn't expect a ton of production from Austin Pruitt at the big league level this year. But if he's there, you want him to be at least pitching well.
Right. As far as other pitching news, the Jacob deGrom watch continues.
Another bullpen.
Through another bullpen. I think the excitement probably would be more. We'd have a lot more, fanfare around this if the Rangers were, say, sitting in first place or sitting in playoff contention. I think the excitement might be a little higher, but I'm excited, man. I can't wait to get Jacob deGrom, a healthy Jacob deGrom, back out on the mound every 5 days in Arlington. Because honestly, we want to win championships, but championships don't just happen. Your odds are fairly low. Anybody's odds are hard to get there, but man, if you can know that you can go to the ball yard any fifth day and see Jacob deGrom out there flame throwing, that alone right there is worth the price of admission.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a third of his starts last year, and money well spent.
Dude, every penny worth it. He's must see baseball, man. I absolutely enjoyed just getting to see that guy pitch. I mean, see him live. He's just outstanding. Now, a little bit more Ranger tidbits, All-Star game related. So Marcus Semien He's going to be starting, I guess. Altuve bowed out, or what
I
happened?
don't know if he's got an injury. I wasn't paying that close attention to Altuve, but I do know he's a little bit banged up. So Semien going to get that start at second base. I do believe that the kid from the Orioles, is it Westberg or
Westberg, yeah.
yeah, he got the nod over Josh Smith in that spot,
Okay.
which I mean I get it, but at the same time the Orioles have like 6 representatives and the Rangers are hosting.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I'm saying? Like I think
no,
that's
I
like
get
the
it.
one
No, I
thing.
get it because Westberg has had a really, really good
Yeah, no,
start,
absolutely.
like you said, but at the same time, Josh Smith's at home, Rangers are at home, but again, it goes right back to that kind of like we've already seen enough of this to know that it's just like Mama said, like it bees that way sometimes. Like we're not going to get any extra love from from anybody.
yeah, no, yeah, an Iceman knows
Aside
it.
from our local, Ranger fandom, we're not going to get any kind of like anything
The
extra.
national love isn't coming our way, and it
No,
isn't coming for
no,
Josh Smith, the kid that wasn't even in the
yeah,
starting lineup on opening day. So
nope,
I
not
get it. I understand. It is what it is. Hopefully that'll give him the rest that he needs because he's been little bit banged up lately
yep,
with
for hamstring.
the glute issues, which normally, I mean, glute issues normally are back issues, not glute issues. So get healthy.
Yeah, yeah, we don't need another extended IL stint from.
No, take your 4 days.
No, take your time. So that's all we got for the Rangers news. We did have one more quick hobby horse to jump on here. I feel like you got it. It's more there's passion on both sides here.
Oh,
Talk about Mark
well,
Madden or
are
Joe
we talking about Joe Madden
Madden
and
and
him
his
talking about how upset he is about baseball and stuff being not, the game not being passed down and all of that stuff? And
mhm.
I mean, I kind of feel like he was like that first guy that really kind of turned baseball into a analytic first me project. So
Mhm.
for him to be upset about it, it kind of feels like the pot calling the kettle black and then being mad because you got called black or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say. Like,
yeah,
but like, I mean, you can't get mad. Like, he ruined the game and now he's like the one that's mad about it. Like, come on,
yeah,
dude. Like, come on, Hulk Hogan.
yeah, yeah,
Come
yeah.
on. I mean,
You
like
made your bed, now you're
seriously.
laying in it, and you don't like
Like,
it.
I mean, whenever me and you were kids in the wrestling, like all the guys that were talking about how all those old dudes are holding us back, or here we are 25 years later, and they're all still right there in the middle of it, holding the young guys back. So, I mean, it's like wrestling, professional baseball, professional wrestling. Like, I mean, you can't ruin something and then be mad you ruined it later.
Right.
You
Well,
just
I think
don't get it both ways.
Well, I liken it to this thing. I say this a lot to people to like people a little older than me usually, or even people my own age now because I'm almost 45 years old. But when you hear the whole oh man, kids these days, they're so bad. Kids, they don't have no respect. They this, kids that, kids this, kids that, and I'm sitting here going like, these are the kids you raised.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
raised well, you're mad. Well, it wasn't me, it was my kid. Well, you raised that kid. Like at some point, your generation influenced the generation that
You just
influenced that
don't get to be
generation.
mad about
Well,
it. Yeah,
I mean, like you don't like it. Well, then, hey, maybe when you had your chance to do something about it, you should have done something about it. And now you're complaining. Well, go out and do something about it then,
yeah,
and get
I
off
don't.
social media or get off media period and complaining about stuff and go make a difference. Then go
I
stand
know, and
up.
let's be real honest. The only difference between kids now and kids then are the kids now are filming it, so all of us get to see the dumb stuff that we did,
Right.
and we didn't film it. We just have we just have memories of it. We
Yeah.
don't have we don't have actual video footage of the stupid stuff that we did. So it's
Sure.
just this. I got no time for Joe Madden telling everybody how the game is ruined.
Because after he made a very
Yeah.
serious contribution to the game being the way it is now.
No doubt.
Yeah, and is Madden? He's he's at what, Detroit?
He's nowhere now.
Oh,
Yeah, he was with
I
the
know he's with
Angels,
Tampa.
right? He was with the Cubs and won the World Series with the Cubs,
Mm-hmm.
and then he didn't do anything with that team after just 1 year and got fired there. And then the Angels brought him in, and he was just awful with the Angels the whole time he was there. But I mean, who knows? I know he did do a good job with Tampa Bay back in the day. I mean, so you earn the skins and you get to wear them for as long as you want, and then you complain about the game and get bitter.
Well, Joe Madden, all I can say is, go cry to somebody that cares. Well, hey,
look at a cloud.
Speaking of young players, we're at the halfway point, not only at the MLB season, but the MILB season as well. We're right at that halfway point, or a little bit past the halfway point for some of the organizations, farm teams. But every single week we talk about the Texas Rangers farm teams and from all the way from the Dominican Summer Leagues all the way up to AAA Round Rock. It's called Down on the Farm with the Boys. We cover all things Rangers, minor league. This last week we went around all levels and talked about them, and gave you our top 10 players of the week, and that helps us kind of bounce around to different levels. One of the hottest minor league teams in all of minor league baseball resides within the Texas Rangers organization. You want to know who that is? You should go check out our latest episode on Spotify, or you can go to our website, TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com.
All one word.
And it's only $1.99 a month. You help make us your one-stop shop for all things Rangers organization-wide. Go check it out. Quick little tidbit, the draft goes on this week, so we'll have a lot to talk about in terms of, probably not as much this week, but the following week we'll have a ton to talk about to recap the Rangers draft. We'll also, we've got the Kumar Rocker start on Friday today that's going to be exciting to talk about, and we'll have tons more to go on with the show this week. And again, next week we'll have the draft all settled in, and then once that shakes out a little bit, we'll be dropping that top 40 prospect list updated for 2024 and let you know who the best prospects in this Texas Rangers organization are. There has been a ton of shakeup at this point. And this list now is going to look totally different than this list did last year, and totally different than it did the first time we did it way back in November of 2023. So go check it out. You won't regret it. Ready to do these box scores? Rangers.
Yeah, we got a good one. We got a bad one. We got Max Scherzer throwing on a Tuesday, right? We're Tuesday night.
Yes.
Tuesday night. So we got Max Scherzer throwing on a Tuesday. I wouldn't say that he had his absolute best stuff, but he battled for the Rangers. Gave up a couple of just. Logan O'Hoppe jumped all over him.
Yeah.
I mean, because he saw 3 pitches against Max Scherzer and was 3 for 3. 2 home runs and a single and 3 pitches. So he was not up there wasting any time. I thought that was a good job by Yates in that 9th inning to dust him because he'd been so hot and seen 3 pitches. So I thought that was kind of a smart play there by Yates, and didn't hurt that Corey Seager got dusted the half inning earlier. So
I loved it.
Yeah. So really not a ton going on in the Rangers offense, but they had 3 big hits from the bottom of the order. Kisner 1 for 4, Hill 2 for 4. Both of them scored a run. Simeon had a big hit with an RBI on it. And then Josh Smith had a couple of big hits. He had one to start an inning and then one to drive in a couple of runs. And then when you needed a big home run, you got it from Adolis Garcia on Tuesday night. Good thing he got it Tuesday night, because Wednesday night he did not have that big home run in him.
Yeah. Well, Josh Smith, I mean, first inning got the blast, and 3 for 4. Really, was kind of him and Derek Hill with a couple of multi-hit games, and like you said, Dolly with the big homer, Simeon with the double. This is the kind of game when you see the Rangers have a lot of contributions from a lot of players, and then of course I like seeing it across multiple innings too. You like to see that, and honestly, these one-run games I think are really important for this team, because these are those kind of like swing games where a lot of things can happen and things can go either way, and especially on the road. Doesn't matter who you're playing, to go out there and to go on the road and steal a one-run game as a visiting team to win the series. Big game for the Rangers, I felt like, especially with that eighth inning, that run they got in the eighth inning from the Adolis Garcia opposite field home run. Rangers really needed this win, really needed the series victory.
And Scherzer working. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to segue right into the pitching, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say Scherzer working 6 into the 7th inning, working 6 2/3. He did get in a little trouble there in the 7th. Leclerc came in and made everybody nervous, and then he walked the first guy and made everybody even more nervous, but he does get through it there. Robertson and Yates just both stand pat, man. I mean, 3 strikeouts from those guys again. Yates did give up a little single that found some grass in the outfield, but other than that, I mean, those guys. If you could get even close to what you've kind of gotten from those guys the rest of the way, I mean, you can't imagine that that's not your 8th and 9th all the way through, and hopefully getting Molly back, can Molly, DeGrom as you go here, Bradford, and you can start strengthening that bullpen in other spots, and because it's strong there at the at the back end, and man, those guys were just so good. I just don't. I mean, I don't have anything else to really say about them. It's just they're so good, and I think I sent you a text message that I hope the Rangers turn it around selfishly, just so I can watch David Robertson pitch the rest of the season.
Yeah, I love David. I literally, from the very his very first appearance, I was loved him. I was like, golly, man, bring him back forever. Retire a Ranger, dude. This guy. I just love his presence on the mound, and Yates coming out and giving a little bit of that chin music is a good thing, because the Rangers have been getting hit. I feel like they've gotten hit at least 3 times as much this year than they did last year. Because again, watching game after game after game, I mean, we've had the injuries with the hit by pitches, but man, I've seen every single major Ranger get thrown at. A lot, and it's not always getting them either, because I've seen Simeon. I've seen it happen with Simeon too. It just hasn't quite. He hadn't got yet. But Josh Smith's been tagged. Seager's been tagged. Dolly Garcia's been tagged.
And it goes all the way back to Game 4 of the season, or 5 of the season, with Josh Young.
Getting injured. But even before that, I
feel like that inning that Josh Young got hit, 3 other dudes or 2 other dudes got hit in that same inning.
Yep. They did. So, it's whatever's going on there, it is what it is. It doesn't seem like a team, like a one team thing. It just seems to be happening all across the board with the Rangers this year. But I digress. Let's go ahead and do your wrap. Don't you got to do the wrap up of the game?
Yeah. We'll do that real quick. The win goes to Jose Leclerc. Oh, man, I got sorry. Jose Leclerc gets the win, pushes him to 4-4 with a 4.08 ERA. Luis Garcia gets the loss after giving a surrender in the 8th inning home run. He's 3-1 with a 4.30 ERA. And Kirby Yates drops that ERA to .84 in his 14th, converting his 14th save of the season.
Love it. Little multitasking going on over here at the Frazier household. Just sold our love seat on OfferUp in the midst of our show. So yeah,
look at that!
Made some room in the house and made some money. So Rangers probably don't want to camp too long on this 7-2 loss at the last game of the series. Angels felt like they came out there playing for pride, especially Hans Kraus. Really seemed like he had a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Angels got the bats going in this game. I felt like once that home run, once Lorenzen gave up that home run to Moniak, the ninth hitter in the lineup. To me, at that point, I was like, for some reason, this feels like one of those Rangers aren't coming back kind of games.
They had lots of chances.
They did, and it's just like that. It's kind of like we slipped back into that same team where listen to this: 7, 8, 9, 5, 6 hits from those guys. 7, 8, 9, 6 runs batted in, 5 runs scored. I mean, those guys were 6 for 10. Thais, Nito, and Moniak just playing like out of their minds, games of their lives. And of course, it's against the Rangers. And of course, backup. I don't know if Thais is a backup catcher or what he is, but he's a backup because O'Hoppy's the main guy.
Yeah. No, catchers and backup catchers have all been killing the Rangers all season long. It wasn't even. But the story of this one to me is 0 for 5 for the Rangers, 9 left on base. That was killer. They had opportunities to get back in that game, and they didn't. And the second biggest story is 7 free passes from the Rangers yesterday. You cannot have 7 walks. Lorenzen had 4 and a hit by pitch. Latz had 1. Robert and Robert had 1. Hernandez only pitched to 1 batter, but they just too many walks. Those walks came around to score, and you just can't have that. I know Lorenzen knows that. He said it right after the game in his press conferences that, on nights like this, I know that I got to take something away from this so I can be better for the team the next time out. So, they know that can't happen. Overall, not a ton to take away from this thing. They had 8 hits, though. They did have 8 hits. They had 5 hits from the bottom of 4 hits from the bottom of the order again. Heim had a pretty decent night. Tavares hit a big home run there in the 5th.
I thought that was the moment.
Yeah, because then they loaded the bases right behind it, and they had
another Rangers storyline. Get just loaded. Doesn't matter blowouts or what. Just load them up, and the Rangers will find a way not to score.
That has definitely been a big issue for the Texas Rangers this year. And
the 2 major stories.
And I feel like it really has been like the 4-hole, and that it's happened to, and the guys that are supposed to be your cleanup hitters are the guys that haven't come through, and guys have set the table for them all season long, and they just haven't came through in that clutch. I mean, I know Langford almost did.
Right.
It almost became
almost had a moment.
Whole different game in 1 second, but it just didn't happen. But you did start to see Semien get on track a little bit this series against Anaheim. He had a nice series, but overall the Rangers just couldn't get enough going, and they just not. Whereas all week we had talked about them getting the big hit when they needed it today or last night, it just wasn't there. It wasn't there. And the Angels, not that they did a ton more, but they did enough to win that game. And they had a couple of home runs. And real quick, that was Hans Kraus, former Texas Rangers farmhand's first career win last night. He's got a .84 ERA. I know it's only been a couple of appearances so far, 9 appearances or whatever, but that slider plays and he spins it. And, I knew he was good when he was with Frisco. I saw him pitch a handful of times and, it didn't work out for him as a starter, but he's getting new life in Anaheim as a relief pitcher. And before I wrap it, I'll throw it back over to you to see if you got anything else to go on this game with.
Yeah, Rangers, the big thing here is the old storyline came back on them after they've had, the 5-game winning streak, but they kind of reverted back to the old 2024 Rangers. Couldn't get it done with the bases loaded, got killed by backup catchers and 7, 8, 9 hitters and walking people and giving too many free passes. Those are kind of we've seen this enough that we know the story. And a lot of times when the game goes like this, nobody expects a comeback either because they just haven't shown the ability to come back. But like you said, they came close, just didn't happen. One positive that comes out of it, they didn't blow it in the 7th inning. So there's something to get out of it. But that's all I got.
Good work there from Mac Jake Latz there in the 7th, right?
Oh, and also to Daniel Robert. I know he gave up the home run to
yeah, and I'm not gonna hold that one.
I didn't see 98 miles an hour coming out of that. I didn't see that coming.
I didn't either.
I saw that, I was like,
a handful of times before, and I had never seen 97.5 on the radar gun. But also, he's not exactly a 2-inning pitcher. He was out there trying to save them some bullpen. They probably didn't need to have him out there for a 2nd inning, but they went back to him, for the bottom of the order, and the bottom of the order got him. It happens. It is what it is. I'm not too upset about that loss last night. I mean, sure, we're in the midst of a winning streak and all of that stuff, but at the same time, just come out of here with 2 more wins in Houston, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And that's what it's all about, is winning series and taking 2 or 3 here and that 3 or 4 there. And when you got a quick 2 win, you got to win that one. So, it's just, you can't win them all, and you're not expecting to win them all. So when you take 2 or 3, it's definitely a success, and you're on the road. So now you're looking at going to have a 4-2 road trip or a 5-1 road trip after a good series with Houston. And that's how I have always looked at it. We've always talked about it that way on the show. And I know that there's a sense of urgency, but even with the sense of urgency, they're not going to win every game.
No, they're not. Well, go ahead. Did you do the wrap?
Oh, yeah. No, Hans Kraus gets the win. That's his first win of the season. 0 losses. He's got a .84 ERA through those 9 appearances. Lorenzen takes the loss. That drops him to 5-5. And that ERA even after surrendering 5 in 5 innings last night, is it's still at 3.52. So Lorenzen, he's going to go about his business and make sure that he's better for the next one out. And there's a couple of outings in a row where he's walked too many batters. But I think that, overall, I'm not extremely worried about Lorenzen.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are too worried about Lorenzen at the moment. Well, let's do this quick preview here. Big series out at Houston. Rangers have shown they can go down to Houston and win some ball games. And again, a Houston team really kind of going through a little bit of flux right now with the scenario that they're having there on the ground for as far as just I think they had the Category 1 hurricane, and so they doing we're baseball fans second, we're human beings first, so we're not.
And of course, Houston is going to be part of the great state of Texas, regardless of whether there are baseball enemies or not. So humanity first and all of that stuff. But I think everything kind of, not too bad. It wasn't as bad as the one they had several years ago that ended up being a Category 5 and sitting on top of Houston for like a day and a half. And so a much better outcome this time for the city of Houston. So I think Friday will probably be no problem to play some baseball. And Andrew Heaney will be going for that 50th career win again on Friday night. He'll be opposed by Hunter Brown for the Astros. Yeah, Hunter Brown 6-6 with a 4.48 ERA this year, and that's a 7:10 game time down there in Houston from Minute Maid Park, and then Saturday it's 3. They're back at it at 3:10 on Saturday, and you've got Nathan Eovaldi starting for the Rangers, and then you've got is it Spencer Arrigatti? Yeah, Spencer Arrigatti. He's 4-7 with a 5.96 ERA, but I remember early in the season he got hammered pretty good, and he's kind of settled down a little bit to continue making starts. And then the Rangers don't have a pitcher announced for Sunday, which that's a 1:15 or a 1:10 Central game there Sunday. But I have speculation that it'll probably be Max Scherzer, just because they probably don't want him taking 9 days off or 8 days off or whatever the case may be before he pitches again, with John Gray coming out of the bullpen. Also, not to mention that, Scherzer's only thrown about 16 innings this year as opposed to Gray at 95 or so. So you might want to and you may make Gray available out of the bullpen. Ronel Blanco will go for the Astros. He's had a fantastic season. He's 9-3 with a 2.53 ERA, including that no-hitter to begin the year, and those 7 no-hit innings of baseball against the Rangers that we've all forgotten about by now.
Absolutely forgotten about it till you brought it back up. Well, hey, man, been a blast. We got it in, got it done. Let's head into this All-Star weekend, and we'll catch back up on Monday and then get ready for the festivities. We're hitting the Futures game on Saturday.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit on Monday too. Looking forward. I don't know what time to get out there because they're doing like the like a skills challenge with the young fellas. So we'll see what time. I'll do some investigative work and see what time we need to get out there. But Sebastian Walcott is competing in that skills competition, so it might be worth getting out there a little early or whatever to check that out.
And my kid, man, like my kid's barely even cognizant, and he's already been to every single state in the southern portion of the United States in his short lifespan. He's already been to a Jacob deGrom game. He's already been to states that I hadn't been in until I had him. Now he's going to my first All-Star game. He's going to his first All-Star game when I'm going to my first All-Star game. So
that's good.
All festivities. It's going to be fun.
Well, and it's also great right now with him because he doesn't cost a ticket.
That's right. We're barely snuck in there with that last bastion of free. He can get in for free stuff, and then as soon as we're able, probably starting next year, he's going to be a junior Ranger. And we're gonna do that whole thing. So, yeah, man, it's gonna be a blast. You got anything else before we sign out of here?
You just big series with Houston starting on Friday night. The Rangers got to win some games down there. They need to take 2 of 3 and come out of this with a 4-2 road trip. We'd like it to be 5-1, but 4-2 will suffice.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. That's all I can say is let's win this series and let's see where we can go from there. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Don't forget to check us out on social media. That's TX Rangers WTB. Don't forget to check out that website, TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com.
All one word.
And there you can also subscribe to our exclusive content. Down on the Farm with the Boys, we cover all things Rangers minor league. Thanks for checking us out here on YouTube on the Sports Fluent Network. Big shout out to all of our farm hands who subscribe to Down on the Farm with the Boys. Big shout out to all of our fantasy baseball players who have been chugging along this season, and it's been a blast. For the 300-pound manimal, this is your boy Kev. We are Texas Rangers with the Boys. We're signing out.